7 o'clock, we have a quorum. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Take those hats off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have minutes of a work study and minutes of a council meeting on September 17th. Any additions, subtractions, deletions, corrections? I'll take a motion to approve or disapprove.
Move to approve.
Both of them?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the work study and the council minutes of September 17th. Do I have it? And I have a second from Tom. All in favor? Signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? All right. The minutes pass. We've got a public meeting, and I am going to gavel this meeting closed and then gavel the public hearing on the Colossi annexation. We're here to take public comments. Any questions? Yes. Step up to the podium and state your name and where you live. Good evening.
Sarah Huffaker, 721 North County Road, 450 East. Was that clear enough? Sorry.
Absolutely.
And I tell what I'm up here for?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been known for a while that the property across the street from our home would be developed. That's not news to us. What was news on a proposed meeting we had was that there were two outlets for the new subdivision on 450 East. And that's raised some concerns for safety issues. It's a slender road with some one-lane bridges, and there's already been some problems with the large bend in traffic, and we're just worried about the traffic that would be affected by making two outlets from a subdivision with 300 homes across the street from our house. And that's my concern. Hope you'll take it into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else tonight? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes, sir. You'll step up to the podium, state your name and where you live.
My name is William Hayden, and I live across the street from this subdivision. I got 20 acres there, but I'm concerned about the drainage. Amos Shelton used to own this property, where it's being developed. Come down and talk to me one day, and just probably before he died. And then Marvin Smith done the same thing. And they say that there's a WPA sewer that drains to the north. And I never checked it, but I did run across it, and behind my house, I dug a post hole, and I just happened to dent. I found the drain, and I busted it, and it was an 8-inch tile, and it was working. But Amos told me that goes all the way, all past 325 down the frontage there, and then also he said that drained back in the field to my ditch. It got Thomas's lives across the street there, and they used to own the field back here. Their drains into that. And Amos and Marvin Smith told me that the WPA run all them sewers back through there, and they are just a drainage ditch, but I got an 8-inch tile behind my house from, and Amos said that it drains to the north. And I don't think them people or the engineers know anything about that drain. And I'm concerned. I mean, all these people moving in there and all that water, excess water drains to the north instead of to the south in their ditch. And they're saying that they will not increase the flow of their ditch whatsoever. Well, you know, it's just something I'm concerned about. And also, I'm concerned about the wildlife there. I got deer and everything else on my property, and I kind of enjoy them. But all these people will soon disappear if that's the case. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else tonight? Okay. I'll close the public hearing on that. Thank you very much for your comments. And we'll move on to ordinance 13, 2018. Laura?
This is the third and final phase of
I'm sorry, I
the.
didn't ask you about the previous one. Did you
Sure,
have,
go right ahead.
did you have any comments on ordinance 14, the Colossi annexation?
Just to let you know, the Plan Commission will be holding a public hearing on this a week from tonight at 7 PM in this very room to hear concerns about the development of the property. And then that annexation will be brought back to you later in the month for adoption.
Okay, did you guys hear that? Be another meeting a week from tonight, same room, 7 o'clock. And you can voice your concerns there as well.
Thank you. It'll be concerns at that time because the kinds of things you're bringing up will be addressed through engineering and design, which will occur at a later stage. Yeah, there'll be a preliminary plat hearing after the annexation and the zoning is done, and that's where engineering and design will be finalized. So you'll have an opportunity there to speak your concerns. We'll make sure that they know about it now, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to ordinance 13, 2018, annexation ordinance for the airport. Laura?
So this is the third and final phase. Tonight is adoption for this ordinance, and this will be the last section of the airport, and all of their property will now be incorporated.
Okay. Questions from the council?
I would move that we approve and adopt ordinance 13, 2018, airport annexation phase 3.
Second. I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 13, 2018. Motion by Marcia, a second by Jim. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ordinance passes.
Thank you. It's been a long road, but we got it done.
It has been long. Well worth it. All right. Ordinance number 18, 2018, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 10, 2018, authorize the regulates the use of motorized golf carts in the town of Danville. After a bit of a discussion with Mr. Pato, the patron saint of golf carts here in Danville, and the other council members, we're going to put this one on hold so we can do a little more research on this and bring it back before the council. Is that?
That's good.
With that, go ahead.
Maybe adding a few things to that.
You all in agreement on that? Yep. Okay, so ordinance 18 will be coming back. Next up, Resolution 12, 2018, funds are being transferred between major budget classifications. Jenny?
At the last council meeting, you guys approved for the additional appropriation for the community crossing grant and for stormwater. And this is just to move the funds, our matching funds, the 25% from the motor vehicle to the community crossing grant. And then to transfer, we had allocated so much for professional services, and we're not going to need it in the professional services expenditure. And so we're going to transfer it to other services and charges. So this is just a resolution to allow me to make those transfers.
All right.
Sufficient funds.
Thank you. Always my question. All right, any discussion about resolution number 12?
I make a motion that we allow Jenny to transfer those monies.
All right, we have a motion to transfer for money. We have a second for Marcia. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 12 passes.
Thank you.
All right, well, Jenny, you seem to be on a roll here, so let's go with ordinance 19.
So this is our 2019 budget that we've been working on since May. I just want to remind a couple of things. A part of this budget that has been approved by you guys, that is to fund a school resource officer, half of the funding coming from Danville School Corporation and the other half coming from the town of Danville. Approved for a 2% raise, of course, to review where we are on our cash reserve come December when I present the salary ordinance. We'll make the final determination on that. And then one thing that wasn't able to be approved was the Public Works Department had asked for an additional funding in their overtime, and there just weren't enough funds available to do that at this time. But there's a lot of ways we can work with that. As you guys know, we can do some transferring and work different ways. So if Ray does get into a situation with his overtime next year, we'll just watch that real closely like we have done this year and see what we can do depending on the snow. He will still have his overtime budget of the $28,000. It just, the additional wasn't approved. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that, and everything else is exactly how it was presented.
Hey, any further discussion, questions for Jenny about the budget? What's the pleasure of the council?
I move that we approve the budget as presented for 2019.
Okay, we have a motion to approve ordinance 19, 2018, the budget.
Second.
I have a second by Tom. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Budget carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we have an additional item tonight, item F. Hard to see, but if you squint your eyes real close and hard, you can see Laura's name up there to deal with some fiscal plans.
I guess this is annexation night for the town of Danville. What I laid at your seats was an agreement for services with UMBA. We used to do fiscal plans for all of our annexations in-house, but through the years, they've made changes to the requirements for fiscal plans that's become accounting-driven, and it's beyond the capacity that staff has to crunch those numbers for a 3-year annexation or results of the economic impacts of an annexation plan. So this is an agreement for services from UMBA to perform those accounting services on 2 fiscal plans. We have annexations coming up on the Danville Christian Church property and the Colessi property. So this will allow us to take care of that and get those before you at the next meeting.
All right, and how much was this going to cost again?
The agreement is not to exceed $10,000. They've assured me that they won't come anywhere close to that. That's if they did absolutely everything. I've provided them with all the numbers. All they have to do is crunch the formula and return those to me. So a few $1,000s, but the agreement is written, with the high end in place.
Has anyone else been asked about what their cost would be for doing this? Any other firms?
No, this is who we use for the airport, and so that's just who I went through in this case.
And that's who I use as our CPA firm for the budgeting process and annual reports.
And
Nice,
have you-
nice comfort level there. I mean,
Yes, yes, we have a relationship with them, and
And have you identified a funding source for this?
Well, Jenny and I talked about it. We figure probably host discretionary in this case.
we have $2,800 left in our financial advisory, non-departmental. So Laura and I talked, we could use that because it's not been allocated for anything else for the rest of the year. And I have all of the financial paid for that I need for the year. So anything over that, then we could look at host discretionary.
And there's plenty, and there's enough funding in host discretionary?
Yes, the balance in host discretionary is $42,500.
Better be enough.
We won't come anywhere close to that.
I would approve that, or I would move that we approve the request to contract with UMBA to do the fiscal plans for the two upcoming annexations at
Second.
not to exceed $10,000
Which
Out of-
it won't.
out of either financial services or discretionary, host discretionary.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to contract with UMBA for these two properties, not to exceed $10,000. And the funds have been identified in two different places. And any other discussion for the council? Does this look like it's going to be a trend as we get more and more into?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the future, we should amend our fee ordinance to include the cost of the fiscal plan going forward, so we can make plans for that in the future. We'll have all of 19 to do that, since we won't be doing any annexations that time.
No, somebody may want a
No, we can't.
super voluntary.
They can start an
expedited
annexation, but they won't be able to complete it
As a
in
census.
19.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second before us. What's the pleasure of the council? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? UMBA is hired.
Thank you.
All right. Anything from the public tonight? Oh, come on. No one wants to talk about the Colts game? That would be a no. Okay, we'll move on then. Yes. Yeah, I think you can just belt it out from there.
You've already got maneuvering across. To the left, another house. We will have a, definitely. Methodist Church. 50 right now.
So that's under county jurisdiction, and you'll need to talk with Hendricks County, the engineering department about that. Our jurisdiction stops at Four Oaks on the west side.
Anyone else? Okay, around the room. Laura?
Going to be at the AIM conference, starting tomorrow through Thursday, but certainly be available by phone and text if you need anything. I think Gary's already making his way down there now. That's all I had.
All right, Jenny?
I will be at the AIM conference, and I'll be available via my cell phone. I also wanted to let you guys know that Rob and Julie and I met today to work on the insurance and liability and workman's comp to compare moving from Stevenson Jensen to ENFP with Kevin Hill, and so I just want to let you guys know that we're working on that. Hope to be completed the end of this week, I think is our goal, and
Tom?
Yeah, last time I spoke about a commuter service by train to Indianapolis and found out that that's probably impossible. The people that own the railroad tracks will be too expensive. So they pushed me onto a rubber tire train, which of course is a bus. I thought about that more, and if we could put a bus service through town to Indianapolis, have the bus service congregate at the western side of town, a parking lot that somebody could either charge for parking or maybe we could get government land, I'm not sure. Somebody there with a coffee and a donut thing in the morning, people getting in there and running into town. The bus would go 2 times, it's $150,000 a year. The government provides a 80% payment for 4 years, which we'd be up for $30,000, so we'd have to make $30,000 on the bus. I thought to make it even a little bit better, I called Aaron, the president of the Avon Town Council, he doesn't like buses. So he actually is adamant about not liking buses. So he's completely out of that. So I went further and I looked, and one of the problems with that is that we would have to compete for 80% funding for that bus in another couple of years. So I'm not sure what people would feel about that. People want to chat on Danville Chatter about having a bus to go to Indianapolis. That might be interesting. So here are the amount of people that could possibly use it. Working residents of Danville is 4,621. People that work in Danville are 827. People who work outside of Danville are 3,794. So that's quite a few people. And the Avon town has 7,351, and the people that work in Avon are 511, and the people that work outside of Avon are 6,840. So there's a few people there that maybe could fill a bus. They don't all probably go to Indianapolis. They probably go through different parts in north and south. So anyways, that's my thought. I'm just trying to make it easier to commute to Indianapolis. Maybe be better for people. They get on the bus and do their work and socialize and go to work. So I'll come up with the rest of it next time.
When you looked at this, would that route go to just downtown, or would it have you gone that far yet as to exactly where it would go?
No, Andrew McGee is the government guy that takes care of this from CIRTA, and he tried to do as much as he could before I came today. But the amounts of 4,000 and them that many, they would be working all around, but they're outside of the area.
Mm-hmm.
The bus would more than likely go to downtown Indianapolis with the central bus station, then they could branch out from there. I thought Avon would be good because they could share it. And we'd only be up for 15 grand, so we'd have to make at least 15,000 on a year's worth of the bus work to make it break even, which isn't a lot. You're charging $5 and you could probably make a profit on the thing. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it a little easier for the people and a little more friendly for us to live in town
Keep digging.
and work outside.
Well, thank you.
Well, the traffic would be less, because if you get on West Side, put them in, then all those cars wouldn't come through town. And same thing on the way home. The bus would go through town, one bus, and then let out the cars on the west side of town. So that would help alleviate some of the traffic. Just a thought. I'd have to look at that. I know for sure it's 5 days a week, but there are quite a few people that work on a Saturday. Maybe that Saturday is the day they want to drive to work. I don't know. They only work for 3 hours on Saturday. But 5 days would be for sure. I think they have a seat there for you.
Julie's.
Well, I think you would have to fix it, Julie. No. No, that's $150,000 for one bus that would travel 2 times in the morning and come back 2 times in the evening. Ma'am? The people that own the bus. We'd be renting it from a bus company, probably Indianapolis Bus Company. Unless somebody wants to buy a bus. Okay, is that all? Thank you.
All for you tonight?
That's all for me.
Okay. Marcia?
I can say many, many years ago, Danville Christian Church owned a bus that they took back and forth downtown as a community. I even wrote it for a while. I appreciate you looking into it.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Dennis?
Nothing.
I have 2 things real quick, or actually 1 thing real quick. A big shout out to the first responders of Hendricks County. They played a football game between police and fire, the United We Stand police and fire games at the football field in Danville. And that was pretty exciting to see them play flag football because they followed every rule and there was no tackling at all. Amazing. They played a good game. And secondly, the first responders also had a basketball game in Bostic Gym. And it was a pretty decent crowd for the first turnout, right? The score was not indicative of the effort. Our first responders only had 5 players, so they had to play the whole game, and the Indy Lions had about 20 guys. So we had our police and fire up against a ABA team that was rotating freely, and our guys held their own. They were dog tired at the end of it, but they held their own. And the Danville alumni players will be playing next Saturday or Saturday. I think. Are they playing at Tri-West?
They play Saturday night, the 5th. They're 6th.
Saturday.
6th. It's gonna be
Yeah, they
6th.
play the 6th against the Lions, and I think they'll give them a pretty good run for the money because I've heard that they have a few subs. So at least the guys can get a breather. So if you get a chance, it's worth checking it out. It's kind of fun to see it in the old gym. Get a little bit more light, and the Lions did donate a scoreboard, is that correct? So that was kind of nice. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's $10 well spent. All right, that's all I've got. Claim docket.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion to approve the claim docket. Second. I've got a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Claim docket's approved. We are adjourned. Good night, drive careful.